For those that are new and those that have forgotten, Portland used to be a great place to make and love music. It was easy because there were no impediments and everything was affordable and creativity converged, and it was just this magical place. And today, Nashville, Austin, Seattle, and Portland are the 4 fastest growing business centers in the US. And we've all felt how hard it is to have a city that grows that fast, and particularly when all except Portland in that list have strategically branded themselves as cities and holistically supported their local music scenes. Our scene isn't going to survive without advocacy and without organization and without good partners to protect it. So Music Portland is a local nonprofit. It is created by local people working to create the conditions in Portland so that independent music, businesses, musicians, and venues can continue to thrive here. We don't produce or promote music events. We work to support and create the infrastructure that makes those things possible. So our mission, our stated mission, is to unite, defend, and amplify. And unite because none of us are going to survive without the others. This is not an industry that lives in silos. It's become under pressure of a growing city. It's becoming a little siloed, but the reality is venues don't survive without an incredibly deep bench of local talent that they can tap. And producers don't survive if musicians don't have venues to play in, and it all connects. So it's truly an ecology that is worth protecting. And Music Portland has brought together thousands of music professionals at events like this and pro-development sessions and as basic members. And for those of you that haven't, please take a minute and do a Music Portland profile. It makes you a basic member of Music Portland. It's entirely free, and it pulls us together. It makes you part of this thing. Don't count on the algorithms of Instagram or Facebook to make sure that you get the right message. Make sure that you're connected so we can get you information about opportunities and funding sources and new opportunities for collaboration and all the different things that we do. And if you've got the means, consider becoming a contributing member. You can do it for as little as $5 or $12 or $20 a month, and it really supports our work. We're all entirely unpaid, and there's never an obligation to pay, but we do ask that if you're able to, help us out, because all the money goes towards helping to fight for you, not to you. And then I know.
I gotta rework that pitch.
I get it. Yeah, I gotta clean that one up. But yeah, we're fighting for you. That's it. That's the way. So defend was an original mission, but it's a little weird because it feels like in the age of social awakening, it needs a little bit of qualification. Our goal is not to merely defend the status quo, because the reality is our music ecology is neither equitable nor inclusive. It's great and it's wonderful, but it's happened organically in a city that is not equitable or inclusive. So naturally it's evolved that way. So Music Portland, in defending our ecosystem, we're defending to grow it, to grow opportunities and access and increase the excellence that we have because we're including everybody. And there are some big initiatives that are going to be announced soon in that regard, and we look forward to bringing those to you. The last mission for us is Amplify, and this is about promoting our scene and our businesses and our music and our impact to city leaders and local businesses and residents and visitors, and to continue to build our reputation as a center for, music curation and incubating new talent and innovation in all things. So that's where we came from. But COVID forced us to pivot around and around and around and around. And so we've kind of had to become the mouthpiece for independent music and a whole bunch of different discussions. And a lot of what we do, and this is partly my background, we're data driven, because if you just talk about music as a concept, it's very squishy. But the reality is we have hard numbers. And the more numbers you have and the more united we are, the more that you start to communicate the abundance of what we do rather than this scarcity model. We are an abundant ecology within the city of Portland, and our reports help to quantify that. So I know some of you roll your eyes and go, oh my God, another survey. we really do try to focus them, but it is about getting data so we can tell the story to people like Commissioner Udaley, who need the information to be able to fight the fights that they need to fight. So, for instance, at the end of March, we did a survey and quantified nearly $8 million in lost income for Oregon musicians from canceled shows. And we did another whole survey that was quantifying how the OED had done in delivering promised government benefits to the music community. Spoiler, didn't perform. We continue to do relief work. We are working to highlight the eligibility of music businesses and musicians for grant programs, because this is a community that's never thought about going after grants. You know, where I think some of the traditional art forms, they know if you're an artist, you need to go and apply for a grant to do the project. Commercial music doesn't. Everybody's scrappy and doing it as best they can, but they don't necessarily think about grants first. So a lot of times they presume that the grants aren't for them. So we've spent time trying to highlight the grants that don't preclude them. In some cases they do. And that are, I'm also advocating with grant providers to make sure that they're clear in their applications and their communications of whether or not they are inclusive for for-profit artists and music businesses. Because the problem is that we get, if you apply for a business grant, you're denied because you're cultural. And if you apply for an arts and culture grant, you're denied because you're commercial. So as it stands right now, music lives in this weird no man's land that we're trying to find pathways through and do better for. And the final thing we've been doing on relief work is individual case management for people that are still waiting 7 months later for government relief that they were promised. For whether it's unemployment insurance or PUA, and certainly all the PUC $600 bumps. So we've been helping to collect, organize, and track the activity for music people that are still waiting. And we're working with Senator Merkley's office to file those with a special area where they have some leverage to escalate the treatment and guarantee 7 to 14 day response time. And it can even be faster if you're really in dire situations. So we have 37 claims have been submitted through the process already. 5 have already reported partial or full payment in the first 10 days, and that's after 7 months of waiting. So please, if there's anybody listening that has yet to receive the employment benefits that they were promised and that they have filed for, please go to bit.ly. It's a bit.ly link /OED still waiting. OED is capital, still waiting is small case. And for those on the Zoom call, it should be in your chat. And give as much detail as you can about your situation. The more detail you give, the better. But it does seem to be working. We're now down to people that really need it, and we can fight, and that's what we do. So that's Speedball. Oh, I did it very fast. I'm so pleased. That is Speedball, a bunch of the things that we've been working on that, you know, is what a trade organization is, what an advocacy group does, and what we do in COVID. We would love people to get involved. Best way to do that is become a basic member and let us know the things that are interesting to you or ideas that you have. We want to represent the interests of our community.